The athlete introductions.
Here they come, heat 2. In lane 2 from CrossFit, Hingham, Eric McGee. In lane 3 from Behemoth CrossFit, Asia Barto. In lane 4 from CrossFit 204, Tyson Takasaki. In lane 5 from CrossFit Unbroken, Matt Hadcock. In lane 6, coming all the way from the European region, welcome Lacey Kovacs. In lane 7 from Beaverton CrossFit, Brian Miller. In lane 8 from CrossFit Western Front, Brandon Swan. In lane 9 from CrossFit Chicago, Alex Nettie. And in lane 10 from CrossFit Lindy, Daniel Tominski.
9 athletes on the floor for the second of 5 heats for the men. The starting grid. Asia Barto, the tallest athlete for the men, but in lane 6, Lacey Kovacs. At the regional competition in Europe, there were rope climbs. Lacey Kovacs did all of them without his legs, and he looked like a ninja flying up that thing.
Yeah, they actually asked him why he did that, and he goes, "Oh, I'm just faster that way. I'm faster that way." You're not going to hear many guys do that, but I mean, he's got incredible pulling power. 1,000 muscle ups in one time, at one day. Did them in sets of 3, took him just over 8 hours. How about doing 1,000 muscle ups? Or just some Legless rope.
I want no part of any of that. Lacey Kovacs in lane 6. Asia Barto, the tallest guy in the field. He stands 6'5". So if he has a good enough vertical leap, he can cover probably half of that rope climb. That's going to be a big advantage for him.
You know, if he can move those long arms too, it should only be a handful of grabs to get to the top. That's going to play to his advantage. I mean, granted, he's a heavier guy, but I think that nice jump is going to help in his favor.
A lot of big guys in this heat. 6 of them are 200+ pounds. Heat number 2 of event 6, the 6th of 12 scored events here at the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games is underway. The time to beat set by Gary Helmick in the first heat, 6 minutes 8.1 seconds, 27 thrusters at 95 pounds, then 4 legless rope climbs, and 21 thrusters, 3 rope climbs, 15 thrusters, 2 rope climbs, 9 thrusters, and then 1 final rope climb to close out the event.
Again, we talked about the thrusters not really being an issue for these guys. What they want to make sure they do is get every rep that counts. They got to make sure that hip crease goes below parallel and that they fully lock out that arm and lock out that hip overhead. Right there, Daniel Tominski just missed. That was the second rep that I saw that he missed. Not what you want to have happen when you start off with 27 reps right away.
So Lacey Kovacs getting set to finish up his first set of thrusters, and here he goes up that rope without his arms, and he is flying up that thing.
Wow, wow. Yeah, this is no big deal for him. That's exactly what he did in regionals also.
Lacey Kovacs in the lead. Asia Barto is done.
Look at the difference in the speed between Lacey Kovacs and right next to him is Matt Hadcock, I believe. And you saw the speed difference. Matt Hadcock was fighting to get up there, whereas Lacey Kovacs, this is a walk in the park for him.
Kovacs is ripping through that rope. He is already through 3 repetitions, and here's number 4, and he's not even resting.
Look at that. Look at how long of a stride he has in those arms. For longest we've seen out of anybody so far. He's moved. This is no big deal for him.
So Lacey Kovacs way out in front as he gets set to start his second set of thrusters. 21 reps here, and then it's back to the rope for Kovacs. Meanwhile, the rest of the field behind him, Asia Bartow and Eric McGee are the two guys closest to Kovacs, and both of them are through 3 rope climbs. Kovacs now through 6. He had a 10th place finish in the burden run, and Kovacs last year missed coming to the games by virtue of a tiebreak.
Yeah, those are heart-wrenching when you hear those kind of stories, but what it means is that if you're out there in those events, if it comes down to a tiebreaker, the higher placing you have, that's going to allow you to what's going to allow you to win that tiebreaker. So you always want to do your absolute best. Sometimes it is what it is, but you know what? He's definitely making a mark for himself right now, especially with this event. I know this is going to be a good score.
Lacey Kovacs now has some company on that barbell. Asia Bartow in the yellow. Next to him is Eric McGee. They are trying to catch Kovacs, but Kovacs now back to the rope. 3 rope climbs for him before a set of 15 thrusters at 95 pounds. Chalking up his hands, and let's see if he can keep the same pace that he set on those first 4 rope climbs.
Wow, he still is pulling with no problem. And look, no sliding on the way down. He's actually moving himself down, controlling that grip, not allowing any sort of weakness or tearing in his hands. That's going to save him for this event as well as the rest of the events during the rest of the weekend. But look at that reach. He
is attacking that rope with a vengeance, just flying up that thing, and he is already through 2 repetitions. We passed the 3-minute mark. The time to beat, 6:08.1. That was put up by Gary Helmick in the first heat. Lacey Kovacs has a very good chance of beating that. There's a 10-minute time cap to this event, and now Kovacs on his 3rd and final rope climb here in this round, and now back to the barbell, and Lacey Kovacs is leaving everyone in his dust.
It's amazing how tight his body is. His core stays nice and tight. Just a slight little kip with his legs, but he never loses control of his body. There isn't any big crazy kip, anything like that. It's insane.
Asia Bartow on the right currently in 2nd place, but it's a distant 2nd behind Lacey Kovacs, who just got no rep because he didn't go deep enough on the thruster. See how much ground Bartow covers on that initial jump, and that's where that height comes into play.
Absolutely, that's definitely going to help him for it, and then I think that was probably only 5 grabs to get to the top. And if you notice, once Lacey gets back on the rope, he doesn't jump at all. He grabs and pulls straight from the ground. So there's a big difference here between the big man, Asia Bartow, who's going to try and clear as much of that rope as he can in one jump, rather than Lacey Kovacs, who's just going to pull for his speed. He's so fast.
So Bartow's creeping up on Lacey Kovacs, but Kovacs now through 12, now 13 reps of his set of 15, and now it's back to the rope for 2 more rope climbs before he moves on to 9 more thrusters. So Kovacs receiving a couple of no reps on that set of 15, and now he is done. And now he moves on to the set of 3 as Asia Bartow has just gotten to the barbell. He is now through 4 repetitions of those thrusters. And here goes Lacey Kovacs on the left, 2 rope climbs before going back to the barbell.
Look at that. Lacey just grabs from the ground and pulls up. But I'm super impressed with Asia Bartow and how fast he's moving. 1 on the rope and then 2 through these thrusters. He has the longest distance out of all these guys to cover with those thrusters, and it's not slowing him down at all.
Kovacs is slowing a bit here, but he has a sizable lead over Asia Bartow. Now the question for Kovacs, can he catch Gary Helmick, who put up the time to beat in the first heat, 6:08.1, and Kovacs is now through 2 rope climbs and has 9 thrusters to go before 1 final rope climb. 5:30 has gone by. Lacey Kovacs trying to track down Gary Helmick.
So what we've seen so far is, again, even though Lacey Kovacs has a long reach for him, he's pulling from the ground, he's actually going up in about 7 pulls total. Whereas Asia Bartow, with his nice big jump and his long arms, he's getting up in about 5 pulls. So that's where he's making up some time. He knows he's still chasing down Lacey Kovacs, but he needs to get moving if he really wants to catch him.
So Kovacs doesn't look like he's going to be able to catch Gary Helmick, but he is still going to win this heat. Every placement counts. You're not only competing against your heat, but also all the men in this event. This is the 6th of 12 scored events here at the 2013 Reebok CrossFit Games. Kovacs on your left, the leader in this heat right now. The time to beat is still Gary Helmick, but now Brian Miller on the right of your screen has moved into second place ahead of Asia Barto. Lacey Kovacs, his final rope climb. And the man from Budapest will win this heat.
Wow, unbelievable. I knew that he would have a fast time. I honestly expected him to be a little faster just with the way he does his rope climbs, but that was a great showing by him. Right there, Brian Miller, look at him. He had a nice big jump, and he's pulling strong too. Doesn't even look slow or tired on that at all. That was great.
So Brian Miller overtaking Asia Barto, and Miller will finish second in this heat. But it's Lacey Kovacs with a time of 6:31 flat, who is the winner of heat number 2. Brian Miller finishing in second place, but it's Gary Helmick who is still your overall leader in this event. 6:08 for him.
Right there, the big man, Asia Barto, he's resting up. He knows he just needs to get through this. The last thing you want to do is have to do 2 halves of a rep, just, wasting all that energy. You want to make it count. So he's taking his rest, being smart. He knows he isn't necessarily rushed by the rest of the heat right now. But again, take that big jump and get up there.
So nice. Asia Barto is in. He will finish third in this heat. Now it's Tyson Takasaki in lane 4 on his set of 9 thrusters. So Takasaki trying to wrap up a 4th place finish in this heat. 5 reps to go for the former wide receiver with the University of Manitoba Bisons out of the Canada West region. He finished second there behind Lucas Parker to get into the games. His first appearance here in Carson, California.
He was moving quick through those thrusters. You see the speed of that. And he actually picked up the tempo from the first set to that last set. He sees the light at the end of the tunnel here, I think.
Less than 2 minutes to go before we hit the 10-minute time cap, and Tyson Takasaki, his final ascent up that rope, makes the touch, and now Takasaki leaping off that rope, crossing the finish line. So Tyson Takasaki will finish in 4th place with a time of 8 minutes, 11.3 seconds. That's Alex Nettie out of the North Central region. He's through his 9 thrusters, and Nettie with 1 more rope climb to go. 90 seconds left before we hit the 10-minute time cap.
Alex Nettie, he was just missed going to the games last year, taking 4th place. See a lot of these guys that always just miss their chance. They finally get the shot to come in here. There's a lot of new guys in here this year, and a lot of new events that these guys are having to deal with, a lot of good new movements. Alex wasn't necessarily one of the better guys on the rope climb in the regionals, but he's looking all right here.
Alex Nettie pulling his way, now he starts to slip.
That's the glove.
That's wasted effort.
That's the problem with, I think, with those gloves. Once you start getting tired, you just don't have the bite onto that rope like you can with some skin and some chalk. If it was me and I was him, I'd take those off. Smart move. He's taking them off right now.
Yeah, Nettie with 1 to go.
Maybe I said that too loud.
Doesn't want to take any chances. Daniel Tominski trying to creep up on Nettie as the 2 of them are having some problems here with the rope. So Nettie to the chalk bucket. He has plenty of time. He's 30 seconds here to get to the top. He's just trying to get inside of that 10-minute time cap. So far, 5 men here in this second of 5 heats have made it inside the 10-minute time cap. Alex Nettie, another ascent. This will be his last try. If he can get this, he makes it inside the 10-minute time cap. Nettie has made it, and he will finish at 9 minutes, 50 seconds unofficially. Alex Nettie, 9:50 flat, 4 to go. And there's the time cap. So it's Lacey Kovacs who wins the heat, but Gary Helmick at 6:08 still with the top time. And Lacey Kovacs was a man possessed on that rope. We've got glimpses of that at the regional competition, and when we heard legless rope climbs, we knew that Kovacs was going to do well. And look at the post, the pacer. On the left, that's his first one. On the right, that's his last one.
There's virtually no change. No change. His body did not have to, no crazy kips, nothing. It was exactly the same. You know that's how it climbs. It's obvious.
So if Lacey Kovacs would have been a little bit faster on those thrusters, he may have been able to beat Gary Helmick's mark of 6:08, but still he gets the win in this heat. Brian Miller came from behind to overtake Asia Barto, who moved that weight really well for a man his size.
Absolutely. And you know what? What's shocking me is that the last 3 guys, Daniel Tominski, Matt Hathcock, Brandon Swan, all amazing athletes, didn't finish. I don't think that they would have thought of the rope climb event would have smashed them like that, but this is tough.
Capacity crowd here on hand at the tennis stadium at the StubHub Center in Carson, California. And this is a crowd that just a couple of years ago we've only seen on the final day. Last year we actually set an attendance record for this tennis stadium.